everybody, it's Sheila with Designs by Babymoon. And if you notice something weird about me this morning, I have no earrings on, but it's okay because I have earrings right here in my hand. And these are some new Christmas tree fringe earrings. And I am going to show you really quickly how to trim the back, the bobbin thread out so that the fringe on the front will fluff up and you'll have a fluffy, cute Christmas tree. These are super easy, super fast to make. It's only about 8 minutes of stitching, maybe a little less, depending on the speed of your machine. And they're just super fun. I think they're going to be great. And they don't have an extra little loop because the star is hollow, and so you can put your earring hardware in the star and then hold them on your ears. They're a good size. Let me show you about how big they are. So not too big. They're not even 2 inches tall, totally. So let me flip this around and let's start trimming the bobbin thread off, okay? Okay, so I'm outside because I'm trimming bobbin threads, and the threads are gonna kind of fly everywhere, and so I didn't want them in my sewing room. I just vacuumed in there, and I did not want that out. So we're gonna work outside so that these threads can blend in with the yarn. Let's get started on these. So I have these all stitched out already, and you can see that this is the front side. I'm going to trim any threads that I've got that are not, kind of jump threads, or the tails, the start and stops of the tails. Pardon the sound of the birds and the planes going by. Let's see, there's one jump thread here. And I have the jump cut trimmer turned off on my machine because I want the fringe to fringe, and I don't want it to cut and think that those are jump stitches. So if your machine cuts threads, like cuts jump threads, turn it off or turn it way up so that those these satin stitches that form the fringe are really, really long, and it doesn't try to cut those. So this fringe is a little bit denser than other fringes that we've done before because I wanted these to be nice and fluffy and full. And so I've got a couple of different tools here. I'm going to show you how to do this a couple of different ways. These are my Iris Snips. I love these because they're rainbow, and I got them from Sunfacer MFG. Jerry Lee Medeiros brings these to us, and these are rainbowy and fun. They're simply little bitty snips. So they're like a little bitty scissor. I only use them for thread so they stay sharp for a long time. Let's see if you can see that. Tiny little snippy snip. See, I come outside and everything happens. We live on a greenway, but yeah, there's a track going down that. Sorry about that. Anyway, these are really great. These are fun. I use these all day long in my sewing thing. I use them to trim the tails, and I trim the jump stitches if I have them. And they're just really nice. And they stay sharp for a very long time because I'm just trimming thread. I don't trim fabric with these. Okay. The other thing that I have is my Clover seam ripper. So any seam ripper will work. The Clover one is nice because the handle is it fits nicely in your hand. And any seam ripper will work as long as it's not totally dull. Okay. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your trees and you're going to flip them around. And when I was stitching these out, I used a dark green in the bobbin. If you are doing when you're doing a design like this, you do want to match your bobbin thread to the top, because that thread, the way the embroidery machine works, it's going to come around, and the top thread will cover most of the back, but there'll be a little bit of the bobbin thread that you can see. And in the regular satin stitching, you want that to be similar to the top thread. On the fringe, you don't want it to be exact though, because you want to be able to see to get these bobbin threads out of here. And the darker part is the dark green that I used for the bobbin thread. Now, I was doing these on my multi-needle machine, so I don't like using the dissolving thread in that, although you could. But you'll need to use the file that was specially built for that, because this file right here, the way it's built, it's meant to be, it stitches all of the green at one time. So it's going to stitch the green base and the fringe in one go because it stitches fast. If you want to use the disappearing thread, you need to use the version that's 4 disappearing threads. So it's got 4 stops instead of 3. Okay, so what I'm going to do here though is I'm simply going to slip my bobbin, my seam ripper in these rows of bobbin stitching right here. And you kind of got to wiggle to get in, but you can see my seam ripper goes all the way through, and I'm simply going to cut the bobbin threads. Okay, so I've snipped the bobbin threads, and now the bobbin threads are loose. And what's going to happen is this front piece, these threads right here, are able to fluff out. Okay, I don't want to use my seam ripper for that because I don't want to cut any of these threads. These loops will be able to pop up. So hopefully I got them all. I do have to be careful though, because the background of the tree is the same color, dark green. So what I can do is I can simply rub that, there it goes, it's much better with my fingernail, and pull those threads out. I don't have to do it right now too, because as I work the stabilizer out in the water, it will release those fringes as well. So let's go ahead and slice through all of those layers, or all of those rows. Okay, so we're just snipping the bobbin thread. Okay, do not go through the freestanding lace base that is the base outline of the tree. So I'm just going through and sliding through, snipping those bobbin threads, and the back, that's fluffing out. And there will be some cleanup to do. So this isn't a not messy task, but the effect is really worth any trouble that you have snipping. So you should be able to get the seam ripper through. Let's do this one with the Iris Snips so that you can see me do that. And I just take the little tip. There are 5 rows of stitching in this design. So I just take the little tip, slide it under those bobbin threads, and just give it a little snip. So, snip, the second row's done. Snip. The third row's done, mostly done. I'm gonna double check that there's not any ones I missed there. Yeah, there's a couple I missed. And let's do the 4th row. Each row has progressively more stitches as it goes down the tree. So there's a little bit more to snip. Okay. I noticed that this thread right here is pretty long, so I can trim that off. Now this is our back, okay? So we've let the bobbin threads out. You can kind of see them as I brush these. These are the bobbin threads, all these little V-shaped dark green pieces. Those are the bobbin threads, and they're coming out because they were just holding the loop from the top to the bottom of that fringe area. Now the top of the fringe is going to stay down because it is held down by the next row of stitching and a special fringe securing stitch that holds it down. So you don't have to worry about the fringe at the top of the row coming down. Just don't pick at those light green stitches that you see there, or any dark green stitches, if you use dark green in the back, that are running right across. Okay? My dog just came out to say hi. She might bark in a minute because she was worried about a squirrel in the yard. Okay, so we can see that doesn't go on the floor in my sewing room. Not today. All right, so I'm going to just shake that off. And then from the front, I'm simply going to run my fingernail across those. And again, like I said, as you rinse the stabilizer away, that fringe is going to pop up too. So we're just doing it so the bottom of this fringe comes out of the front, not the top of the fringe. The top of the fringe is secure. So you might want to, grab something like a chopstick that's not going to slice, or I could use the end of these, not the tip, because I might cut it with my tip. So I'm just going to use this to help pick those stitches out of the back, to help them come back out. So just fluff them out and rub them gently. You don't want to cause your thread to fray. I've used isocord thread, so my thread's pretty durable, and I don't have to really worry about it fraying. This one came up a lot easier. I'm just rubbing it across those rows. And the fringe is puffing up nicely. And like I said, as we wash the stabilizer out, and get all of these, fringe pieces off of here, the bobbin pieces, that's going to puff up pretty nicely. I can see I've got some bobbin threads right here still sticking on, hanging on, and I'm simply going to snip those away. Okay, just to give any threads that they're trying to hold on to the opportunity to fringe for me, okay? To give those loops the ability to fringe out. But again, you don't want to cut the dark green that you see or the light green that is running through the lines on that back side. Because if you cut those, the whole thing's going to fall apart. So I'm just going to rub the fringe again. See, it's fluffing up much better now. Just those few little bobbin threads on there will hold in the bulk of it down. I'm going to do the same thing on this tree over here. Just snipping away the excess bobbin thread that didn't rub out. And this also means by doing it now, before I get it wet, that all these threads aren't going to go into my sink either. If you wash your stabilizer out in the kitchen sink or the bathroom sink, you don't really want these threads to go down your drain. Or I don't. So let's see, there's a few more right here that I can see that aren't snipped. So I'm going to get those. Kind of get those off the way. And I'm cleaning up the back too. So by doing all this work, cleaning this up right now, it's a lot less work that I'll have to do after they're all rinsed out and dry. Okay, and now, yep, see, that's fluffing out much easier because we got all that bobbin thread away. It's not releasing the top part of it all because that's secured down. It's just releasing those loops on the bottom so you have a nice fringe. Okay, so now I'm going to wash these out. And after I get these washed out, so this is a lovely little trick. What I like to do is cut them apart and just get most of that stabilizer out so I'm not rinsing out so much glue. Okay, this is all a gluey, filmy thing. So I'm going to cut them out a lot now. You could definitely do the fringing part while they're still pulled taut in your hoop. Or, do it now at this point. That's fine. Either way. But I definitely recommend that you do it before you get them wet. If you do it after they're wet, the stabilizer that's in your water will form kind of a glue. And then this will kind of all be stuck down. So you want to do this before you get them wet. Okay? And you can fluff the fringe back up if it, when it gets wet, if it kind of lays down a little bit. If the thread relaxes, especially if you're using rayon thread. Rayon thread's going to relax in the water and get real soft. But if you'll just, run your fingers over them, fluff the fringe back out, you'll have a beautiful finish. So that is the fringed Christmas tree. And that is how to get the fringe to fluff out. I hope you enjoy these. They're super fun. I think they're going to be really fun to wear for Christmas time. All right, thanks for watching. We'll talk to you guys later. Bye.